Waking Giant, America in the Age of Jackson, by David S. Reynolds. Narrated by Arthur Morey. Copyright 2008 by David S. Reynolds. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with HarperCollins Publishers and was produced in the year 2008 by Tantor Media, Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto. Prologue. The years from 1815 through 1848 were arguably the richest in American life if we view the whole picture of society, politics, and culture. The United States moved rapidly toward its eventual place as the world's major power. Through treaties and the Mexican War, it gained vast western territories extending across the continent all the way to the Pacific Ocean. Its population nearly tripled, surpassing 22 million by 1848. Expansion was fanned by an intense nationalism that gave rise to manifest destiny, the phrase coined in John L. O'Sullivan's Democratic Review that expressed the nation's determination to move westward and spread democracy. The Monroe Doctrine solidified America's place in the Atlantic, and the so-called Tyler Doctrine extended it in the Pacific. Although the United States remained mainly agricultural, the growth of its cities far outpaced the rise of its rural population. Much of the urban surge came from immigration. By the late 1840s, over 200,000 Europeans arrived each year, the bulk of them Irish, with many others from Germany, England, and elsewhere. The influx of foreigners created a polyglot society, but also provoked a backlash that lay behind an outpouring of anti-Catholic literature and nativist political movements. Protestantism saw tremendous growth in evangelical denominations, as well as in numerous sects, cults, prophets, and reform movements aimed at improving society. Cultural flowering brought a renaissance in literature and art. Some of America's greatest authors, including Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, Edgar Allan Poe, and Nathaniel Hawthorne, date from this period, as do several of its finest painters, such as Thomas Cole, Asher B. Durand, and George Caleb Bingham. Scientific progress bred a host of inventions, most notably the railroad, the telegraph, improved steam travel, the mechanical reaper, the revolver, the sewing machine, anesthesia, and photography. In the long run, these and other inventions proved immensely important, but it took time for their full economic repercussions to be widely felt. Claims that a transportation and communications revolution transpired before 1850 are easily overstated. How about the economy as a whole? Did a so-called market revolution occur that carried the nation from a bygone subsistence economy to a capitalist one? Some argue that the market economy had a destructive effect, bringing alienation, isolation, and dehumanization. Others suggest that it nurtured progress and human rights. Revolution is again too dramatic a word to describe the changing economy. But there was an accelerated shift toward capitalism that had both positive and harmful effects. Although this shift contributed to broadening prosperity and a healthy growth in the GNP, it also worsened class divisions and exacerbated the tensions that led to the Civil War. These tensions centered on slavery, but cannot be separated from economics or culture. Debates still swirl around the period's central figure, Andrew Jackson, who rose to fame in 1815 at the Battle of New Orleans and later served 2 terms as president, aggressively defending average Americans against moneyed institutions. Was Jackson good or bad for America? A savior of the people or a reckless autocrat? Democracy's champion or a law-breaking white supremacist? This book suggests that Jackson had many deep flaws, but that there was also much to admire about him, including his strengthening of presidential power essential to maintaining the American Union in a time of escalating sectional crises. His shortcomings reflected his era, as did those of other great leaders from Jefferson to Lincoln. But understanding Jackson, perhaps more than most leading Americans of his time, requires an ability to resist either vilification or veneration.